Hello, everybody. I have with me today Mayor Randy Carroll of the City of Shelbyville. Mayor Carroll, it's good to have you with us. It's been a little while since we've talked,
Thank you,
and
David.
a lot's happened since we've talked. You've
It
been
has.
elected
Yes, sir.
mayor, sworn in the mayor,
That's
and
right.
you've been on the job for a while. Tell us how that's been going.
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank everyone out there for the votes and for this honor. It's a great honor. I'm humbled, but I'm also been busy for the people of Shelbyville. I'm working a lot of hours, and uh, we're trying to get up to speed on everything that happens behind the scenes in Shelbyville. And we've got uh, it's it's interesting to get used to that people calling you mayor,
Right.
your honor, and those kind of things like that. And again, I'm humbled by that. But it's really a good job. It's an adventure. It's exciting. Somewhat surprising at times when you find out different things and how they work. But we're trying to do the best we can for the people of Shelbyville. We've had to slow some things down to make sure we were making the right decisions. Uh, some of the issues that had been rushed through before, I've tried to put the brakes on and say, city council members have agreed with me, and let's slow down, let's look at it, let's get all the details before we make those decisions. These are important decisions that will affect people for years. And we have looked at one of the big issues has been safety and protecting the city, and that has we've dealt with the flood pumps that were all operating at less than full percentage capacity, and they're 60 something years old. And we sure don't want to happen anything to happen during the flood and those kind of things like that. So we have the engineering study already started on replacing those flood pumps. The safety issues, the fire department was having to go out on the concrete and metal structures to start those
Right. Yeah.
things. And of course, I would address that in the newspaper and other places, but we're online to get those flood pumps replaced. It will take 12 to 18 months to get those pumps ordered and put together and back here, and they'll all be automated so we can operate those without having the safety issues of sending firemen out there.
Well, Mayor, I know that's one priority, obviously, that's just jumped, you just jumped right into and talked about. What are some other issues that the city is facing now? Some of the slowdown things that you're talking about, and then how much do how much do the council members get input from their constituents, do you think, on these types of things? Are they getting a lot of feedback, or do they want more feedback, or just speak to that just for a second?
Well, we're always open. We want the people that we're representing. We want them to know that we're there for them. And yes, we've received letters, and I've asked everyone that's asking me about decisions we're trying to make. Send me a letter or send me a note. And if you want to send it anonymous, that's fine with me. But we do want people's opinion on things that we're making decisions on. How is it going to affect your life? And because all of us have different needs and wants and things like that. We do have to make some tough decisions from time to time, and those decisions are made after a lot of concentrated effort and study to make sure that we're doing the right thing. We've got some big issues in front of us. One of them, the Duxon Electric plant, is that's been finalized, and those people are out there moving dirt there. We did find out some things about some changes in the North Business Park to accommodate Duxon, and I don't know that I was pleased with all of that because some roads were changed and things like that, and surprised we got a bill on one of those roads because of right of way. And what I've tried to make sure on other projects we're looking at is those hidden costs. Let's don't do something and then 6 months down the road let's get a bill for the roadway change and things like that. And I've gone back to the people that made those decisions and said, you need to maybe not make those anymore, especially if you don't have the authorization to do that or the authority to do that. Other things, we've looked at taxes. One of the things that we looked at during our campaign was we knew that there was a burden for people paying taxes, and they had raised them. The previous council had raised them to $1.59. And after study and seeing the sales tax increases because the price of goods are higher, and other things that we saw where we could not cut services, we're not going to do that at all. but where we saw that maybe we could make the city a little leaner, then the council has backed us on that, and they are right in there, right in behind us, and they want to cut taxes too. And we have talked about lowering to $1.48, and then this last council session we had, they decided maybe $1.36. Hope that owners helps probably takes a little of the burden off, and of course we'd like to see the county taxes reduced too, but that will be up to the county commission and the mayor there.
So this comes up at budget time, is that correct?
Yes. Oh,
Which
yes.
July you'll be working through that, or?
Well, we're starting to work on the budget in April and May to get it ready for June, because July the 1st will be the start of our new fiscal year. Right now, the city's operating and doing very well. We've got a lot of streets that need repair, and but right now is not the time to repair them during the winter season with seasonal changes and things. But when the weather gets pretty, we've got some projects that we're wanting to work on. We've got some intersections that we're looking at: Fairfield Pike, Dover Street, and Dairy Street. That is a crowded intersection in the mornings and in the afternoon. So we're looking at widening that, putting turn lanes in and things like that to help the traffic flow. Aiken Elementary School, which is K through 5. They've broken ground on that. That's on Fairfield Pike. So we're looking long term to take Dairy Street and Fairfield Pike to expand that road all the way out there to 437, our bypass.
Yeah, that will be a congested area once that school gets opened up.
Yeah.
Well, that's some interesting stuff to hear about, especially the intersections and roads and what have you. Is there anything else? What about the airport situation? Where does that stand now?
Well, the MTSU Aeronautical School is wanting to move to our Shelbyville Airport, as most people know, and it's been advertised. And that was one of the things we put the brakes on to make sure that we took care of the city of Shelbyville. If it passes, the council will have to make that decision. But we've had multiple meetings, 7 or 8 that I've been in, and it's going to be a lease purchase type option. And we have the property. The previous council had bought the property, and we have property that our airport wants to use, and then MTSU wants to use about 16 acres of the other part. On the lease, it's a very detailed lease, as you can imagine, 40-year lease. What I have looked at, and the other council members has looked at, is what happens if MTSU, if for some reason they want to terminate being here, or we want to terminate being working with them. What happens to all the buildings that they build? We're talking about a $67 million investment. We're also looking at the air traffic in that area. People that live out in that area, they're concerned about more planes in the air, and are they going to be flying all hours of the day, and all of those kind of things like that. We take everything seriously, and I've got letters from folks and folks that come to visit me. They'll call and say, "Mayor Carroll, can I come talk to you?" And I might try to make arrangements to be there so that they can talk to me and tell their side of the story. We have gotten to the point where the lease has been sent to us. We've looked at it. There were things that we didn't agree with. We thought were not good for the city of Shelbyville and the people of Shelbyville. We're looking at long term, how it's going to affect traffic flow out there, how it's going to affect maybe development in that area. And so we have made some changes in the lease that's going to be good for Shelbyville. I do not want it to cost the city of Shelbyville 1 penny for them to move over here. If anything, I want us to make some money and sell that property out there. Hidden cost, anything TDOT can work with us or work with MTSU. One of the pluses is we think we'll get utilities that we don't have on 231. They're down on Midland Road now, the sewage and things like that. But hopefully with this money that the state's giving, we can get sewer lines over there, and we can develop that area a little bit better. We've got some other partners down the road that would like to have sewage, and we haven't been able to afford it.
Right. Well, I'm going to throw this question out. You don't know what's coming, but I'm just going to get your take on it. I've heard this from people that currently use the airport, and I'm sure you have too. Us being in some sort of expansion mode for business, that airport as it sits today is a crown jewel for businesses. Absolutely. If they have if they have planes and want to fly in, they can do that.
Absolutely.
How does MTSU moving their flight school here change the complexion of the usage of the current airport the way it is now for businesses and pilots that have their planes there? How will that integrate? Do you know that yet?
Well, and I have talked to a lot of folks that are in business that are flying, and there's some negatives. They don't want to be flying in the same airspace as some of these students and things like that, and I understand it. Space as far as hangars and where they're parking their planes, and are we going to run into so much traffic that we can't fly in there at certain times of the day and things like that. We've also looked at, will there be an expansion to the Shelbyville Airport, and it'll be better for business one of these days. So we've looked at all of those things, and I can understand the negative. I want the pros and cons. If we're going to make this big a decision, I want to make sure that everybody at least gets a voice to say, this is what we feel like, and this is how it's affecting me, and those kind of things. And the decision hasn't been finally made yet. Like I said, the council will be the final ones when that lease is all written up and we know Shelbyville is protected. That's all I want to do. I want to protect the citizens of Shelbyville, make sure it's not going to cost us anything. But I also want to look at that future. Is it going to help us in the future? Is it going to be a benefit to development in that area? We know we're growing, and we've got some of these growing pains is making decisions like this. MTSU is wanting to come, and we have slowed it down, and they're not happy about us slowing it down, but we had to make sure we were protecting the citizens of Shelbyville. As far as what the council will decide on the final vote, I don't have an idea at this moment. If it's a tie vote, then I'll have to make a decision at that point.
Right. Well, how far away do you think that is? Months away, or
probably I would say within the next 2 months, maybe that decision will be made. Yeah, because we slowed it down. Everybody thought it was going to be made in November and December, but we put the brakes on that thing. So wait a minute, we don't have to make that decision right. If you get into big business, and of course I was with Duck River, but if you get into some of these large contracts, that's the first thing people want to do is push, and we got to do it. But that's not the way decisions need to be made. They need to be well thought out. Everything needs to be read, every I dotted, T crossed.
Right.
Make sure that we're taking care of the folks that we're representing, City of Shelbyville. And I take that to heart. I want to make sure that, I know some people are not going to be happy if they do pass it, and some people are not going to be happy if we don't pass it. Right. So,
yeah, that's nature of the beast.
That's exactly right.
Maybe sometime down the road you look back and say that was the right decision because you did slow down, and that's the goal.
Yeah, and we have to do that, David. I think that's just in personal decisions and anything else, and prayer and everything else. I prayed about it. Is it going to be a good thing? Is it not going to be a good thing?
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting on that answer.
Well, that's a critical part of this process.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else down the road that the citizens of Shelbyville can look forward to? I mean, is there anything that that's coming that would be that's public knowledge and maybe hadn't been talked about a whole lot?
Well, we're looking at some commercial businesses and retail businesses that people have been asking about for a while, and we're not necessarily talking about dine-in locations, but we've got some folks that are looking at us for because we're growing, and the cost of living here is changing, and people are paying a little bit more for salaries and hourly wage and things like that. So that's why people like the fast food chains, or even just some restaurant chains that we want, they'll make that decision to come into Shelbyville based on the average income, the population, and all those things. One of the things I'd like to see developed, I don't want us to concentrate just on 231 North. We've got a great highway, 41A, going toward Tullahoma.
Yeah, man.
And those people need a grocery out there.
Right.
And I would like to see one, if we can land a larger grocery, and they could come off 437, or the people in Wartrace and Normandy and those areas could shop there and will not have to go to other towns.
I'll tell you something. Since that 4 lane has been opened up, Tullahoma is closer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know, when it was 2 lane all the way,
Yeah.
it seemed like a longer drive. Now you're just over there in a blink.
That's exactly.
And we can tap into each other a lot better now with that 4 lane.
Absolutely. And we need to keep those sales tax dollars at home.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I'm just looking at the convenience for the shopper. If somebody lives over there on Tullum Highway, they have to come across either 437 or come through town to get to our Kroger, our Food Line, or any of our stores that they're working on.
Or they drive to Publix.
Or they drive to Publix and Tullahoma.
So
we're trying to say, I'm trying to say, let's look at property out there. And if we're working with the folks that are trying to recruit those industries, I'm saying, let's look at, there's a need there.
There is.
There's a need there. Yeah. And school wise, of course, population's growing on schools and things like that. And I think we're working together very good on everything that we're trying to do. And everybody's been so nice to me and so kind. And when I've asked questions, they've given me the answers. And that's what I want.
That's what you want. Yeah. Well, Mayor, thanks for sitting down with us. This is some good stuff. We'll have to do this again real soon, and you can give us some updates. But I just appreciate you sitting down and letting people hear from our mayor and what's going on. It's a breath of fresh air. And Randy, we appreciate you sitting down. And best of luck. And you are in our prayers.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, and we'll be back real soon with some more conversations.